Do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another episode of Always Almost There, several days after show live. It is several days after the show, but we are here and we are very excited to be here to talk about the second year of Viva El Gonzo down in Cabo. I was there this year. Neil was not, unfortunately. And Neil, I just want to say that we very much missed you this past weekend.
Yeah, I missed it. I was sad. Everybody looks like they had the time of their lives there. Of course, when you see the photos, it's 1,000 times more fun, I guess, than you could be having there. You just envision all of this fun, and then you see all of these amazing people having a great time together. And then Monday morning rolls around, and I wake up, and I have a cup of coffee, and I am not exhausted. I am connected to reality. I am.
For the record,
my re-entry has, nothing is happened. There is no re-entry. I'm just there. I'm not adjusting to being 3 hours forward. None of those things.
For the record,
I was grateful for that.
For the record, is it really 3 hours when you were going to bed at like 4 or 5 a.m. Pacific
or 6?
Which
is 9 a.m. here.
It actually makes it easier to readjust to the time difference when your sleep schedule was that screwed up for a few days. And I will.
Here we go. We're batting 1,000 on Ryan's internet right now.
Oh, here we go. All right. I had a great night's sleep last night, and I feel great today.
You seem actually surprisingly normal today. I would
have
trouble.
What? I slept on my red-eye flights home this time a lot more than I did last year. So even though I landed in Toronto at 5:30 in the morning yesterday and then took a few-hour nap before work, I was in much better shape coming home this year than I was last year. And for that, I'm happy. And 9 days until Europe. So,
9 days until Europe. What could go wrong?
Nothing.
Amazing.
Nothing could go wrong. And we're excited to be here today. It's been a couple of days, so not quite as instant reactions as we usually do, but we wanted to do a dedicated Viva El Gonzo kind of more in-depth analysis before we record our big spring tour / Gonzo recap, which will be recorded this weekend and out next week for you to enjoy before Europe tour starts. And we're very excited to hear the Jive Goose's opinions on all these shows.
All things Mexico.
We really don't know what he thought of spring tour so far.
I have no idea.
We have no idea. So it's gonna be great. Tune into that episode when it's out next week. First reactions to Jive Goose's opinions and our first reactions to Jive Goose's opinions.
Yeah. Hey, listen, the 5 days after show today it has to happen because some folks are only hearing the 9th for the first time today.
It's true.
So some folks didn't buy the stream, so the audio dropped today. So this is the day to do it. This is the right time to do it. This is the true day after show. Folks have now heard the show. We can all kind of collectively think about this show.
There we go. Well, we're not going to talk about the 9th first. And just to be clear on this episode, I think we'll touch a little bit on a couple of the other sets, where there were some sit-ins, the Disco Biscuits being the main one where the audio was available. But if you want to hear what I thought of the whole festival and all the bands, you can go to ryanstorm.substack.com. I have a full review of each day, but we are going to be focusing primarily on the Goose sets here.
Yeah, primarily on the Goose sets, fewer promos for people's Substacks. Let's talk about the Goose.
Well, you got also, one. All right.
I haven't heard a lot of this stuff. So I want to say I've heard only minor, small clips of the acoustic set. I have not listened to Helicopters. I'm told
you haven't listened to Helicopters?
I haven't done it yet.
Dude, no. It's sick.
Yeah. So I'm owning that I haven't listened to that yet.
All right, fair enough. And the acoustics that we know, it doesn't circulate, and hopefully we get that audio before September this year. But we'll get there.
That'd be great.
Let's dive right in here. May 7th, 2026, night 1 at Viva El Gonzo. Band comes out of the gate hot with Bear, followed by SOS, Dr. Darkness, Silver Rising, and then Mr. Action and Hey Joe with Corey Wong on guitar. Overall, I think this set is good. This is a pretty, run-of-the-mill Goose set for a lot of it. Your nice little sandwiched around. Well, you get two covers that are very cool, and then in the middle you get run-of-the-mill Goose first set. With SOS Darkness,
It doesn't get
Silver
much
Action.
more run of the mill than that. Yeah.
No, it does not. It's like a 2023 first set in here. But I love the choice to open with Bear for this festival.
Yeah, weird choice, but good, and it came out good. I think in the end, it was a little bit of a ripper, and you kind of need that to start off the party, right? Am I alone again, Ryan? Did we lose you? We did. All right. Well, I'm going to just dive in and start talking about my notes because it's nice to not have Ryan to actually respond to the things that I'm saying. That way, I can just say what I want to say without getting interrupted. So this could be great. So I do like where
back,
the bear goes.
by the way.
You're back. Great. You get the kind of classic. I don't know. This is like a classic Goose jam. I don't know. It gets down real quiet.
It sounds like Drive to me. It sounds like Drive.
Does it? I don't know. I think it sounds like a lot of jams to me. But in any case, you get to that quiet, sparse psychedelic space and then build back up again. And then Cotter pounds the crap out of the drums, big peak, and you're out. That's a good way to start a show.
Yeah. I mean, I really liked it. First of all.
All right. So I'm going to just be doing this whole thing all by myself tonight.
Oh, jeez.
This is great. This is absolutely great, Ryan. Okay, looks like you're back. Why don't you try one more time? Otherwise, I'm just
all right. I'm going to try one more time to talk about this bear. So great pick. I want to give a huge shout out to the father and son from Toronto who I met in the line to board my flight to Fort Lauderdale in April. They were in Gonzo and they ran into the band. I don't remember if it was the day earlier in the day or the day before. And the son, who is, I'm sorry if I get this wrong, like 8 or 9 years old, huge Goose fan, knows his stuff, said that it would be really cool and awesome if they opened the festival with Bear. And they did. And I think that's pretty cool. So
that is cool.
Shout out
to those guys. That's a heck of a call.
I know. And I love it.
Yeah.
I wish we could do things like, hey, you guys should open a show with, that.
Tea?
And they would. Yeah. Well, no, but that it's awesome. And I love this pick. And yeah, I think this was a solid jam, Also, you're not opening with the SOS Darkness Silver Rising action portion. You're opening with something cool and then getting into the first set stuff.
Yeah. Although, hold on and pump the brakes on first set stuff and throwing SOS into that. This is 25 minutes and change of SOS.
It's true.
It is not your standard fare. It doesn't really go crazy places, but it is good.
Standard for 2026 at this point, though. We have 3 versions and they all do this thing.
This exact thing, which is jam for over 20 minutes. And yes, I'll take that.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't go crazy places, but I don't think it necessarily has to. It's the second jam of the show. You get a nice little jam and bear already. And this 1-2 punch to start a show is a whole lot better than starting the show with Dr. Darkness and Mr. Action. Or Dr.
Hey, listen, they didn't say they were going to go super hard. So they didn't open with Darkness.
They didn't do that. But you do get the standard Goose fare in the first. I mean, they had to at some point during this 3-show run. Oddly, none of these songs were played last time in Gonzo. I want to be clear about that. There's no repeats at all in this first night.
Correct.
Do we agree on that?
Yeah. Yes.
No repeats.
I mean, we agree on the factual statement that there is no repeats.
Okay. Well, you looked like you were about to disagree with me, and I was like, wait a second.
Well, you hesitated after there are no repeats, and so I was going to be like, well, there were later on in the run, but you're
yes. Well, so you were doing the I'm about to interrupt you and correct you look. So
exactly.
That's what I was.
But I didn't interrupt you.
Yeah, good thing progress. Because I was making a point. Okay, so you get the regular stuff, then you get sit-ins first set, first night, which I love. Mr. Action with some hot Corey Wong ripping in here. I mean, it's a good guitar solo song. Dude played the guitar solo in that like he had been playing it his whole life, which is crazy. Like there was like some inflection on things that Rick normally does, and I mean, Corey Wong is just such a spectacular player. I'm not surprised in the slightest, but I do like this version. I mean, I always actually like Misdirection. It does the same thing all the time, and it just rips. And then, of course, they end the set with "Hey Joe," which you and I were talking about after the day after. I don't know if Rick knows this song at all. I don't know if he's ever heard the song in his life. In fact, like he seems so uncomfortable doing this. I mean, he clearly had just learned it for this sit-in, right? Do you agree with that, or what do you
I wouldn't say he felt super uncomfortable, but there were certain inflections in the vocals and the melody that he was stumbling over a little bit, as if he hadn't listened to the song in a while. And I would like to say, like, just for the record, I didn't recognize this song when it started, and my good friend Cass gave me an appropriately large amount of shit for that for the entire weekend.
Well, dude, I don't blame you because it doesn't really sound like Hey Joe when
well,
it starts.
Everyone,
I mean, like,
everyone
yes,
around me, everyone around me got in at around 3 seconds. So,
all right. I mean, I think it was a little rough. The beginning is a little rough. It didn't feel like this one was well rehearsed. But
I think that my main issue with this Hey Joe is that, like, Corey Wong was on stage, but like he's not audible in this song at all. He doesn't take a solo in this song. Like, he was just there playing it.
Yeah, he was just there. I just don't get it. I don't know. It was all right. It was good. I love Hendrix. Like, so
I also
don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I feel like people are going to be like, "Oh, Neil hates Hendrix." It is not the case. I love Jimi Hendrix, which is
we have a new bit.
What?
Neil hates Hendrix.
The new bit is Neil hates Jimi Hendrix. No, let's not do that. I'm all set with that. But hey, they're doing cool stuff. You get a new cover to close out the set. But all in all, this is the least exciting set they do the whole entire festival, I guess.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I also like the nod to Mexico in the lyrics. Hey Joe filled the role that Ride Like the Wind did last year. So yeah, it makes sense why they did it.
How about that?
Yeah. Should we move on to set 2?
I would love to. Yes.
All right. So our first bogey sit-in of the weekend, first of many, of course. Interlude 2 into Jive 1. This is a hefty lude right here.
Big time.
Hefty lude. And Jive 1. Not always the best for set 2, but this rips. And Bogey on this song is great. And I think that his sax solo is fantastic. And that's all I really have to say about it.
Yep, agree. There's not much to expand upon here. You're getting what you get.
It's a hot Jive
1 with Stuart Bogey, which is good. There are no songs that Stuart Bogey plays with this band where I'm like, well, it would have been better without him. I think he does a really, really excellent job of not overplaying and not being completely lost in the background. He's just right. He's a Goldilocks of sax players, or woodwinds, I should say, because there's more than just sax. But
what I will say is that my main issue with this choice is they only have 75 minutes for these sets, and 20 minutes of this second set was interlude into Jive 1. And so I think we lost a little bit of, potential improv, but we do get some improv in the second half of this set, which I think is great. And honestly, when they started playing Electric Avenue, I was like, oh boy, all right, party show, no jams, here we go. And then this ended up being awesome. This is great. Is this the Goat Electric Avenue?
Oh, I don't know, man. No, I don't think so.
You're thinking of the Goose one with the mist ending from last fall?
There's like a Goonsy one out there. There's a couple. I have been known to be
one's really good, but shorter.
Yeah.
At any rate, this is the second longest one in Goose history. Only 2 seconds shorter than Bingo Tour. But that one included the Limbo Bingo Ball. So,
yikes!
I had some other stuff going on in there.
Jams.
Anyway, yes, and thank you, Garrett. The Okeechobee one from spring 2023. That's also excellent. I think this one does a little more. One of my favorite parts of it is when they're starting it, and like they're kind of getting into the vibe, and Rick is strumming the chords. Cotter hits the sample, and it's just like, it's very silly. Cotter was very silly all weekend.
Yeah, well, as one does in Mexico, do
Yep.
silly things.
Yep.
But like I love the sound that they get here. And the interesting thing is, to me, it sounds like they're playing the Wisteria Jam before they play Wisteria. But
Mm-hmm.
you get that full curtain of sound where it's just thick and sounds like one instrument, and it's just kind of driving and really slamming you in the face.
Yeah.
And then you get that kind of delicate post-peak jam in there, which is really, really nice. And then you just get the clarinet, by the way. Who knew that the clarinet was like a tension-building psychedelic instrument?
It's crazy.
It
All
is
weekend.
crazy
All
what the
weekend.
dude
Every
does with the
sit-in with it.
clarinet. Yeah. There's like sax Stuart Bogey, which is great, and it's like saxophone player sitting in with the band, which sounds amazing. And then there's clarinet Stuart Bogey, which is just like, I'm going to take you to the farthest reaches of space and warp your mind. And who the hell knew when you were like picking up instruments, when you were in elementary school, and everybody's like, I want to play the drums, and like, I want to play the saxophone. Nobody was just like, I want to melt people's faces with a clarinet. That was the instrument you didn't want to pick up. But Bogey knew back then. Yeah.
And then this segue into Wisteria, fucking amazing.
Crazy.
I couldn't believe when Rick started hitting the opening notes of Wisteria, I was like, oh, like, holy shit.
Yeah, like, how did you get here? And how did you get here without me realizing, I guess? That was like a surprise segue. Which
and they took their time with it. They nailed it.
Yeah.
Goose
Absolutely.
Is a segue band, Neil.
Goose is a segue band. They have become a segue band in 2026. They weren't always a segue band, but they are now.
Yeah.
They're quite
most
great.
of the time.
Yeah. Oh, no, actually, I take that back because I'm going to absolutely shit on their segues next show. But hey, whatever. We got to do it. Got to keep them honest.
Got to do it. But this Wisteria, again, 19 minutes. First kind of, I would say first playlist jam of the festival. And
really, I don't know.
What you don't think this is a playlist for
like a big time playlist jam? I don't know.
I don't think it's a big time jam, but I think this is a playlist jam. Looking at what else is on my playlist, I think overall, I think the improv from the festival, the spaces they were hitting in the more significant jams, are a little bit further beyond what they were doing for most of April. I think there's more interesting stuff happening, and you and I haven't really talked about this yet.
No, we haven't. No,
I mean, I was busy, and then you've had a busy couple of days, so we haven't really,
we've not connected.
Gone in the weeds.
This is us connecting on the jams.
Yeah. By the way, normally we have a little more prep before knowing what we think of this stuff, but I got a couple of snarky comments in group chat from Neil about jam placement, but that's about all I have to go off of. But yeah, I think Ev Dude's point, he says, agreed, these jams felt psychedelic in a fresh way. And I think that's a good way of putting it. They're taking some more time in the space. And I think that's, one of the things we talk about, their comfort level when the crowd is very dialed in, and all the people that came all the way to this festival, are dialed in, and they're here, and they're ready to lock in on Goose. And so we'll see what happens, come Europe and come summer tour with this. But I think there are a lot of really interesting spaces being explored. And so I really like the way that this Wisteria flows from dark to light. Doesn't really, the peak doesn't feel super rote. Not a super high ranking jam, but I think this one hits the playlist.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think weirdly, and you might push back strongly on this, but in terms of depth of exploration, this is my third favorite jam of the set.
Interesting.
But I do like it. I'm not saying this is bad. I like everything about this set. The way this set ends, by the way, is amazing. They found a groove in Electric Avenue and sustain all the way through the end of the show. And I will say later, I'm going to save what I'm going to say about So Ready till later, because I want to kind of really focus in on that, because I think that's really, really special. But this Wisteria is quite good. I just don't think it got as crazy as the other two. But again, I still need to go back and listen to these several times. This is the day after show. So
Several
so,
days
you
after
know,
show is what it
the
is.
several days after show. So,
Yeah.
we need some time. But let me tell you something. The peak on this Wisteria, Cotter. Oh my god. Oh my god. Like at the end, it's just crazy. And then of course Bogey on this, also crazy. It's
Yep.
just it's nuts. It's nuts where they find themselves.
Speaking of crazy bogey, our first iteration of the Bogey Goons comes next with
Yeah.
this So Ready. And let me tell you, when they started playing So Ready, I was like, all right, 12 minutes until curfew. Here we go. They're going to do the thing. And then instead of Rick's solo, we get some pretty fantastic goons.
I think the best they've ever done.
You think this is the best goons they've ever done?
I think it's the most interesting. It takes the most turns. It is not it's the least familiar and most courageous. Maybe not the best.
Interesting.
But to me, I keep going back and listening to this and saying, this is where I've wanted the Goons to go all along. It finds a few different spaces. Of course, you have Stuart Bogey there, so it makes it all sound a little bit different. Who knew that the clarinet was the missing ingredient in the Goons? But again, it is.
It is.
Who
Inexplicably.
knew? Somehow the clarinet just works. But it does. And man, honestly, I have to say, and maybe it was this right here, this moment, listening to this for the first time, I have fallen in love with Stuart Bogey as a musician. He has played with Goose several times, obviously, and I've loved it. But something about Gonzo has gone next level with him. Like he's found his place, and it is almost like he is a band member at this point. It's not a sit
he and Rick
anymore.
and he and Rick have found that connection.
Yeah.
We talked about after Goose missed, like it took them most of night one to really lock in with each other and like really start kind of doing the dogfight thing and connecting. But there are certain moments, and we'll talk about especially on night three. But there are certain moments from this weekend where you're like, oh my God. But Bogey also was the sit-in king of the entire festival. Anytime he was on stage with anyone, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Like he sat in with Liz Special. He sat in with Eggy. Like he was just all over the place, crushing it.
I have not heard the Eggy sit-in. Is it available to listen to yet?
The boards have not dropped, but it is a really amazing version of Subterranean Homesick Alien.
Really? I would like to hear that a lot.
Well, guess what?
I like the radio
when it drops.
And I like the Stuart Bogey, and I like the Eggy. So what could go wrong? But I'm looking forward to hearing that. I've heard from many people, not you, by the way, the Eggy evangelist of 2026, but from other people whose musical opinions I value and trust, that this was quite incredible. So
right.
Yeah.
That's because you don't value or trust my musical opinions.
It's not that I don't value or trust your musical opinions. I just think sometimes, it can be a little skewed. Just saying.
Yeah. But yeah, So Ready. Great way to finish it off. And Peter very aggressively telling us that the show was over after this So Ready. He was like, that's it. We're not playing anymore. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
But then Rick, Peter, and Cotter went to sit in with the Disco Biscuits shortly after. Big 20-minute version of Helicopters. Shout out to a friend of the pod, Matt, who was unfortunately not with us in Mexico, who would have... It may be good that he wasn't there because he may have died. But Cotter sounded, obviously, as expected, Cotter sounded very natural as the drummer for the Disco Biscuits. And Rick and Barbara had some pretty good back and forth going on during this. But if you haven't listened to this, it's on Nugs. I'm recommending listening to the Disco Biscuits because 3 out of 4 members of Goose are sitting in, and I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I will go listen to that. I have not listened to it. I still had one more thought about the So Ready, by the way. We hadn't. I didn't realize we were moving on from that. So what if you haven't yet, what I want you to do, and this is the collective you, not you, Ryan Storm, but you, the listener, go pull up that track, fast forward to 13 minutes and 45 seconds, and then listen to the things that are happening in that, and then tell me it's not the most adventurous, courageous Goons they've ever done. And one thing that is really, really cool on it is Bogey does the octave down thing on the clarinet. The octave down thing that Rick normally does in the Goons. He's got his own pedal, and he had a whole
board. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got, the solo set, which I caught briefly. Somebody or Matt for Math did a, a Mixler of it, and it was just the bogey alone part, not bogey with Rick, I don't think. And it was incredible the things that he was doing. He's doing like loops and stuff, and really really cool. But I mean, like he's hitting pedals in this jam that are just making it so crazy. And so I wanted to point that out. So just go to 1345 on there, hit play from that moment on, and then just bask in how crazy it is. Okay, fast forward to now after the Disco Biscuits.
All right. Well, the next day now.
Yes.
We move on to the next day.
Of course.
May 8th, Friday night, we open up with Born, Slow Jam Born.
Yes.
And this is an aggressive version, but I am so happy to see this kind of jam in Born. You know, doesn't really stray far from Born at all until the final couple of minutes, but
yeah,
it's a great show opening peak, similar to Bear. It's just like, we're gonna get in here, we're gonna give you a big peak, and then we're gonna move on. I really like the little ambient outro thing. Definitely wasn't.
Oh, you mean the Eugene Bourne tease?
The Eugene Bourne tease. You would notice that, Neil.
Yeah, it's full on Eugene Bourne for a moment.
Rick just in those clouds of reverse delay loops, and like Peter was tuning up his guitar to get ready to play Yeti, and then was like, "Oh, we're still doing this, okay," and then started doing a bit of ambient texturing of his own. But I loved this.
It's quite good. Hey, more Bournes like this. It doesn't have to go crazy. I'll take Bourne actually all the time. They've been playing it a bunch. A lot more than they normally do. Low gap counts on Bournes. And is this the third of the year so far? Or is it the fourth?
Fourth.
It's the fourth. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy considering how many shows they've played. Very rare that they play it this often. They probably haven't played it this often since they debuted the song. But yes, I love this jam. This is the one. If you're going to stick with one, this is it. And this is a night where I think even the kind of mundane jams sound otherworldly and creative. I love everything they do on this night. They don't miss on the jams. They may not jam for a really long time, but every single jam they do catches your attention. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You kind of blocked out for a second there. I think you had words to say, but I didn't hear what they are. But I think
I didn't say anything. I
choose to believe that you were agreeing with me that the jams were quite good on this night. And the jams were good on each night, but I think this night throughout had that vibe where everything they touch just works. And those nights are the best nights. It doesn't have to have the best jams, but front to back, this is a really, really good show. And it starts right out the gate with Born.
Yep. And then 17 minutes of Yeti, which, I mean, you just all out dance party goons here. This one isn't like deep goons. This is just Peter being like, "Hey, I was hanging out with Corey Wong last night."
Yeah. I mean, you get a little bit of sauce. You get you get Peter on guitar and ARP. So you kind of get that it's like kind of Yeti and it's kind of Goons, but it's like light Goons. And this first set Goons. This is
pretty good Goons. Yeah,
it's good.
Is great.
It's pretty good. I think this is the way to approach it, right? Like, I want to rewind and actually attach this thought to my thoughts on So Ready. So Ready has gotten kind of boring and predictable. When they play it, you're like, okay, we're going to get the thing.
That's what I said.
That's just like a drag when it's like a 10+ minute song in a show. And then the same thing has happened with Yeti, where I think a lot of people are just kind of over it. Or it's just like, oh, here we go again. Oh, they're going to do pumped up kicks. So you just goose it. Like how do you freshen up a song? Just slap some goons on the end of it and just write it out. And I think it worked really, really well for the So Ready, and also well for this Yeti. And you get the dance party started early in the first set, which is awesome. More goons in the first set. Let's do it.
Yeah. And then after the dance party, bust out of bust outs, 332 shows. Last played November 10th, 2021 in Houston, Texas. Moving Out, Anthony's song, returns. Shout out to friend of the pod, Garrett. This was his chase. He was very, very happy to get this. Oh yeah, and Bogey,
Ugh.
of course, playing the sax solo. This was a treat. This was a treat.
Was it?
Don't need this to be back in regular rotation, but
Ever.
yeah, 332 song bust out is pretty.
Yeah, I saw the second to last
332
version.
show.
They'd played it in Eau
Okay.
Claire a bajillion years ago. And I was like, man, I hope they never play this one again. I don't know, dude. I don't like Billy Joel, man.
Well, they
and like,
didn't have a saxophone in Eau Claire.
no,
So
they didn't. So yeah, this I guess makes it happen. You know, you bring in a world class musician like Stuart Bogey, and it's just like, dude, we're doing wedding songs. So just
we're playing Billy
strap
Joel.
in.
Your one sit-in tonight is Billy Joel.
It's Billy Joel. Oh man, I don't like it. I wish it stayed in 2021, but I get it. It's meant to be a little bit funny, and of course, Bogey destroys the song. I'm sure he could do it in his sleep, and you know, highs and lows there. Not a fan of the Billy Joel, and so sorry. Please don't hate me, everyone. But I don't. It's not for me.
Fair enough. All right. Next up, we get a fantastic 30 minutes of music here to close the set. Like really just great 1-2 punch here with the All I Need Jed Stone. This All I Need jam starts in a really fantastic, like a kind of brooding space. And that one kind of like jazzy minor chord they keep hitting early on, like that's right in my sweet spot. Like that tickles my brain in just the right way. And when they started doing that, I was like, ooh, like I like like this is good.
Yeah, it's that laid back All I Need plus, right?
Yeah.
There's just like there's a little bit more. And that's what I'm talking about, right? Everything just has like a little sprinkling of something extra on it, this whole entire show. And that is exactly what I'm talking about. So on the shorter side, All I Need, by the way, written set list, this was supposed to be a second jam, All I Need. Well, not necessarily.
Well,
Bonus
we don't know
jam.
what bonus jam means, but
yeah.
I'm gonna guess it was,
We used that
especially
term
because
on this show. But
yeah, but Rick kind of attempted to return to All I Need, and then they kind of botched it, and then he just kind of abandoned it, which was funny because also All I Need hasn't been finished since like fall 2024.
it's wild.
Like they haven't played that final chorus since fall 2024. So, you know,
it's entirely possible Cotter has no idea how to do it.
Yeah, or just they forgot. I mean, there have been a lot of versions of this song, even when they were doing the ending all the time, where they don't quite hit it on the same beat. So yeah, they tried and then didn't. But
yeah.
This means that maybe in Europe or summer tour, the second jam will return. We can hope. We can dream.
Yeah, one can hope for All I Need to return to its past glory.
Yeah. It's been a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of glory, we get the GOAT Jed Stone next, jammed out for the first time. This version is absolutely beautiful. This reminded me of the 527-25 This Old C from San Francisco last year. Very delicate jam, very conversational between Rick, Peter, and Trevor, and kind of this ebb and flow with the dynamics where they're all very active and it just gets really quiet and then builds back in a really cool way. And like just blew my mind. Whoa. Blew my mind what they did with this Jed Stone, and I love it.
Again, everything gets a little something extra in this show. Once again, you get it in this Jed Stone. This reminds me of old. It's funny that you mentioned This Old C because I am reminded of like 2020, This Old C, 2021, where you kind of get that Jed Stone type jam.
Yep.
In it. So those old ones, you listen to those jams and like the guitar solo, and it sounds like, the Jed Stone guitar solo. But this one is a little bit different. It just does the Rick emotive guitar solo thing, and there are days when he just feels it, and magic comes out of the guitar, and I think this is a version of that. And the only thing that really like makes this jam suffer is that it's short. But otherwise, I mean, this might be his best guitar. Well, no, it's not. It's some of his best guitar playing of the weekend. It's his best emotive guitar playing of the weekend. But yeah, there's some good stuff yet to come.
There's some crazy stuff yet to come.
Yeah, it's just it's looming. This thing,
It's looming. It's looming.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about this set too, because once again, fantastic set flow wise, and everything gets a little extra. You get ripping animal for a while. This is where the Born 2001 jam went, by the way. In this animal, Peter just on fire for the first chunk of this, on the roads, then on the piano. But it does the animal peak thing. I like that they're taking this at a bit of a faster tempo now. I feel like it feels less standard and less plotting a little bit, even though this is, pretty much just like animal jam for a while. But they're taking it at a faster tempo, which I feel like it gives it a bit more pep and it keeps it a bit more interesting. But the last couple of minutes of this jam, whoa. Like, did you not catch on to this insane jamming segment at the end?
I don't know if I dug it as much as you do. The first listen I had to it, I had you in the back of my mind saying that, because I don't know, you must have like texted me or something. And I listened and I was like, oh, this is really, really good. And then I was kind of doing a respin today of listening to it, and I was like, I don't know. This is the one that doesn't like really knock my socks off out of the whole entire show. It's still good.
I mean,
but
it's
what
not
is
a
it about
playlist jam.
that last couple minutes that you like?
I like it. Just descends into that kind of like very quiet and very metallic pulsating jam. And that's the kind of thing that reminds me of something like the Make the Move from Richmond last year, which is kind of that like quiet, brooding, kind of pulsating thing that doesn't happen a lot. And I would love to see more of that. And I was just really excited, hopefully in the coming shows and the coming tours that we have on the horizon, we can get something like this, but more fully formed and not just like a couple of minutes at the end of the animal jam, before they segue out.
Well, I'm a huge fan of the Richmond Make the Move. So you've piqued my interest. I'm going to go back and listen to these last couple of minutes again with that thought in mind. If you have not listened to last year's Richmond Make the Move, go do it, because it's
crazy.
Sick. I put it on my playlist. I thought it was that good, but they do some things improvisationally that really kind of blew my mind. Actually,
push the envelope.
They do. Yep.
Well, next we get some more Goons in the Sinnerman. And this one's interesting to me because it's definitely it's at a slower tempo than the usual Goons, which means there's more space going on. And Cotter spends, by the way, Neil, this was one of the jams where I really missed you because I really needed you next to me going like this for several minutes while Cotter was building it. Yeah. Bringing it in, bringing it in.
Gather it up.
But there's a crazy build from Cotter here. He's clearly excited after playing with the Disco Biscuits the night before. I'm going to agree with Garrett in the chat here. I thought Sinnerman was the best Goons of the weekend. I know you like So Ready, but I think that just that there was more room in this one for them to do cool stuff. But Cotter.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Vampire Disco Goons, which is what this is the most satisfying. Yeah, I mean, because it has to have a name at this point. It's grindy and industrial and
vibes version.
Maybe more metal than it is EDM. I mean, I don't know what the hell it is. But it's something, and it's just. I think if you just listen to a lot of Goose, you're surprised by this every time you hear it because it's so out of their personality. It's just not them. Like, you go listen to 2019 Goose, and then listen to fall 2019, and then come back and listen to that, and just be like, this is the same band. And I've been saying this already, and it's just like it blows my mind. So this one is of course it's like great Goons, but I feel like it's been done a bunch now. But the Vampire Disco, it is a real crowd pleaser. I mean, you have no choice but to throw down in this thing. Chris.
It's impossible not to be throwing down when they're doing the Vampire Disco Goons.
Yeah. I mean, you have full on octave sauce. You've got like just
the best part about this
guitars,
was how quickly the crowd locked in. Like, after this long build, people were kind of like, I think people were getting a little bit impatient to start like dancing. But
Yeah.
when they hit into it, the entire crowd just locked in on the band immediately. And, being kind of towards the back of the field, or to like, I guess by the soundboard, for this was cool because you get everyone in front of you saying, hands in the air. And yeah, it was great. But loved this.
Good stuff.
And then an interesting jammed out Arcadia.
Yeah.
Which
Very interesting.
Awesome. Very, very happy to see this pop up in this slot and do something. This is one of the best Arcadias since 2021. I still haven't compared it to. Well, it's either this or Charleston Goosemas, I think.
Yep, which I haven't listened
Charleston
to
Goosemas
in a minute.
And Charleston Goosemas was like mostly the recycled Swansea jam. So I think this is the most interesting Arcadia since Mission.
Yeah, but with the caveat,
low bar.
Yeah, the bar is low. Yeah, so I want to.
The bar is literally does something.
Yeah, so this is not like in the same conversation as Mission Arcadia.
No,
it's not. It's not. But I agree with that. I agree. It's the most interesting one in a minute, at least. I'd have to go back. I don't catalog versions of Arcadia since 2021 because there hasn't been a good reason to. But I mean, this one kind of does a little something different. They kind of turn the typical Arcadia jam on its head for a decent stretch, type 1.5, some might say.
Yep.
And then they just the jam here, the really enticing jam of this Arcadia is the beginning of the segue into Peach. I think. And so you get a little bit of Trevor doing that kind of whatever he does on the bass to make it sound like Peach. And that adds some brightness to this jam that is just, it's cool. And Rick picks right up on it and does this thing that isn't Peach at all, which is really awesome. And then at one point, Rick is just like, I'm going to do this like kind of really fuzzy, super delayed tone that to me sounded like My Bloody Valentine for a hot minute. I was like, oh my God, like this is nuts. And then they just bail.
Yeah.
And so that part was disappointing.
I really liked the Blissy section. I kind of locked in on Peter's Roads during that, the last few minutes of this Arcadia. And I think this is Peter's best set of the run, in my opinion. I think he was on fire the whole set. What he was doing on the clav early on, the way that he was playing off of Rick for the first chunk of this Arcadia jam while he was on clav, was pretty incredible, I think.
Good stuff. So then, do you have anything else to say about this jam? Because I want to talk about the segue.
No.
Okay. So then they do the thing. They have found their way to Peach in this beautiful Blissy jam, this last 4 minutes after the original Arcadia jam, maybe 5 minutes or so. And they've got it. They've got it locked in. Like Trevor's playing the bass line. Rick's, the guitar is there. He's got like this fuzzy thing going. Like all they have to do is just drop into the thing. So what do? The table is set. They stop.
They weren't at the right tempo, Neil.
Like, what the hell?
They weren't at the right tempo.
Okay, fine. But I don't know. It's a maddening thing that they do. And it's just kind of funny. I mean, like maybe that's the idea. It's just that we found our way there and there's no way to cleanly get to the next thing. So like we're going to stop and then start again. But it's just, oh man, it's just like you're, kind of like you're talking about that feeling in the Goons where you're just like, oh, just drop already. And then, they don't. And then.
Yeah, but that was cool.
Yeah, this is maddening. But it was still dope. Peach, I've come around on, by the way. I think last time they played this, I said, I learned when listening to this, I thought I liked Future Islands. And then I found out that I didn't. Or I remembered that I was not a Future Islands guy. And like, now I think I've come around. I think Future Islands is pretty good. This is
the best rendition so far. And I mean, I was at this show and I hadn't seen either of the two prior versions. And it got super hot and went back into Arcadia, and the end of Arcadia did the end of Arcadia thing.
Yes.
So big fan of that. But
very hot.
It's cool sandwich. Cool sandwich. Interesting that on the written set for this set, so they changed this at set break, but they had planned to do Factory in this set. and they did not play Factory. Still has not been played this year. But so just interesting there. I was really expecting Factory Fiction to get played at this festival, and I had a very poor Fantasy Goose performance over the weekend.
As you do normally.
Yeah, I think I got like 12 points the entire weekend.
It was hard. Dude.
So
it's real hard. It's real
yeah,
hard
they were not
do.
playing what we expected. So far in the weekend, Animal is the only repeat from last year.
Yeah, and so smart people, I'm not one of them, figured out that there were no repeats happening on the first night, and it just hadn't occurred to me because, like, it's just I wasn't really thinking about it. But some people did figure that out and kind of picked accordingly and picked really, really well. So I think somebody had close to a perfect score on this night, which is bananas. Because they didn't play many songs. Actually, now is a good time because we're at the end of the second night to talk about just how short these shows are. Because they are. And
75 minutes or under.
Yes. And that to me is like not the sweet spot for Goose sets. I think 90 minutes is allows them to do all the things they need to do to make you feel satisfied walking away from the set. Like,
even
it's
80.
not just like another 15 minutes of jam. It's just like one more song and like tack a few minutes of jam onto this one thing or something like that. And it's just an hour and 15 minutes. I don't know why. Like, it's their festival. They planned this thing, man. Why did they say, dudes, let's only do 75-minute sets? Let's paint ourselves into a corner when we know that our best shows are when we play for longer. You look back to February of last year. You look back to
New Orleans,
Asheville of this year. Like, I mean, New Orleans, like they played these larger sets and really allowed the whole thing to bloom, the music, and they just dialed it back. And that bumps me out because I feel like I look at each one of these, like these are crazy, crazy set lists where just a little bit more would push it into, we're talking crazy show, like a big time show.
Well, guess what,
Especially
Neil?
Last night.
Guess what, Neil? We're about to go to Europe. And guess what happens in Europe?
The final countdown.
Even shorter sets.
Yeah, even shorter sets. So is that like confirmed? I mean, I know the Instagram story has people believing. So like, if little backstory, why don't you give the backstory?
So yeah, so they posted on, I think it was either Wednesday or Thursday. They posted an Instagram story with a poll asking if people wanted longer sets and no encore in Europe, or shorter sets and an encore. And I believe that longer sets won, which is nice. And I'm looking at the information site for these shows. And London says 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock, which is very promising, which means we could theoretically get 3 hours of music. So that's good. And not all of these have the start time and the end time on them, but we're going to find out in a couple of weeks as we get going there, what the deal is.
There's a little bit more backstory here, which is last time Goose played Europe, what happened?
Well, in addition to not time managing well, some of the venues only gave them 2 hours to play. And so, they would go on 15 minutes late, and then we would get an hour and 45 minutes of Goose. Or there was the Cologne venue last time, the show started at 6:45 and ended at 9:30, which was like the weirdest time frame for a Goose show I think I've ever seen.
That is bizarre.
But yeah, we'll see what happens this time. And no encores. No encores.
Disco.
Oh, yes. Yeah. A lot of these venues, there was a DJ that started at 11 in the same room.
Just
so, we
cut
had
the band short. We need the DJ to show up.
So we'll see what happens.
Maybe
it's DJ Mar Menthols this year.
Hey,
DJ Mar Menthols in a European club? I don't know.
After Goose? Sick. Oh, come on. Like, you think they would allow that? You think they would at least be able to finagle that? I mean, they're not playing like 2,000 people venues, are they? I mean, well,
they're playing. Most of them are a little over 1,000 this time.
Oh, okay. So no, like tiny,
I think
the Melwood Tavern in the middle of, Germany or something. So I don't know. I haven't researched
not that small this time. one of the venues, and I need to dig up my post of the capacities from when the tour was announced, but one of them is 600, and that's the smallest. So, yeah. Anyway, day 3 at Gonzo.
Yes.
And I just want to say, I really hope that we don't have to wait until September for the audio from the acoustic set this year, because this acoustic set features Michaela Davis on the whole set. And
how about that?
Phenomenal, just phenomenal. Like, you thought it was good when she played with them electric last summer. This is it. This is so good. All the songs we got, great covers. The Master and a Hound and True Love Waits was phenomenal. Her ripping acoustic drive was sick. With the Can't You See We're Cut from the Same Cloth stuff.
Oh, really?
Yep,
I haven't heard
making an appearance for the first time since last summer. So hopefully those recordings get posted soon. But in the meantime, we are going to talk about the best night of Viva El Gonzo. And shall we?
I mean, sure. There's so much I want to talk about this show. This
is an amazing Goose show, and
it's a metamorphosis.
This is a thing, like,
really.
Imagine if they had 30 more minutes to add to add to the total time of this show.
Yeah, it's just magic is happening during this show, and it really is a special one. I am quite the fan of how it shook out. And I mean, there are things happening all throughout this. Wait, when was the Jim James acoustic set was the day before? We didn't talk about that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we didn't talk about them sitting with MMJ either. So on Friday, Rick sat in with Jim James at the end of his acoustic set for a beautiful, beautiful rendition of Love and Mercy.
Yes. I mean, holy smokes, man. It's so beautiful. I've listened to it like a million times. Rick debuts a new guitar on there, which we have a couple minor details, which I think the luthier from DeLuise Guitars, Greg is his first name, right? Really great guy. And so he confirmed that this is one of his guitars, and he's going to release some more information soon. But the one thing he did say is it's kind of a mashup of the Gibson ES-150 kind of hollow body guitar and the Dracul. Has a few details of that, and that you can see just by looking at it. Has the same like tailpiece as Dracul, and it also has the same headstock as Dracul. Similar tone of the color of the instrument. So not a musical tone, color tone. So neat, and it sounds awesome.
Sounds good.
Really, really good.
Yep.
So I'm really, really excited to see what Rick does with this thing. It's awesome, and of course, the two of them singing together is a beautiful musical partnership. And this is the first moment at Gonzo where I'm realizing that this is not just like a sit-in, like you're at some like festival and some dude kind of like sits in on Shakedown Street, rips a solo and walks off the stage or something.
Yep.
This is like, these are two real musicians collaborating. And I was saying this to you and a couple other folks, where I think it's got to be hard to be Rick in that situation. You're on stage. There's nothing to hide behind. It is you and Jim James and two acoustic guitars. So you better show up.
Silent crowd.
The crowd was silent crowd.
So attentive.
Yeah. So so you got these two guys there, and so Rick could do one of two things. He could be kind of the doe-eyed young musician looking at a hero of his. We know this is a hero of his. And just lay back and just kind of let him do his thing and then like meekly contribute in this thing. That is not what happens. The other thing happens. Rick shows up and is not on equal footing, but he is expressing himself completely. He is not scared. He is not held back. And the result to me sounds absolutely gorgeous.
The result is we need a Rick and Jim James duo acoustic tour. That's
because they're better than just a sit-in. Like the two of them together sounds incredible.
The chemistry, and we'll talk about it when once we talk about the second set of night 3 of Goose. How their chemistry comes across, but their voices are so complementary. Their playing styles are, and there's so much immediately from this. There's so much mutual respect on stage, and like you can tell. I mean, obviously, Rick is a huge fan of Jim's, but you can tell that Jim is a huge fan of Rick's. You
Yeah.
know, and I don't know how much Goose Jim James has been exposed to, but even if it's just Louisville and this, like he's digging it.
Yeah.
And he's in.
Yeah, and we also know that Rick elevates when he is around Jim James, probably because he's like, dude, I better bring it or else I'm gonna embarrass myself. Like, so you could go back and listen to those sit-ins, the Louisville ones. Listen to the "Don't Do It." That's the one that everybody's gonna skip. That's like the most fiery "Don't Do It" from Rick's perspective, like ever.
I mean, you don't need to listen to that. You can just go and listen to the stuff from Gonzo instead. That's you know,
I'm just saying, like, it's shocking how well that version came out. Even if you are,
and then they do it again for Saturday afternoon with My Morning Jacket, and I just want to say, who does a sit-in in the first song of the show? Because I wasn't even there yet. I missed the sit-in.
I didn't know that. That's amazing.
I was taking an opportunity right after the Eggy acoustic set at Round Rocks. I like said hi to the guys for a second and was like, great set. And then I walked over and I ran into someone and they were like, dude, you just got here. You missed Rick. I was like, what do you mean I missed Rick? And they're like, they opened with State of the Art. I was like, what?
And well, don't forget Cotter on Tambo. So
and Cotter,
there's that.
Listen, I saw a video. Good job. But
incredible.
Yeah, man. That was mean opening with it. I mean, I paid for it, but
yeah. I can't believe you missed that. I'm sorry. That's kind of a drag because it was really good.
Really I mean, good. I went and watched it on the stream. It's sick.
Yeah, man.
MMJ is sick, by the way. Loved their set. Definitely want to see them again.
They have never disappointed me ever. Ever. And there are many bands I can say that about.
Yep. Okay. Should we talk about night 3 of Goose now?
Yeah, now, after 8 minutes of lead up, why don't we jump right in?
After 8 minutes of gushing about Jim James.
Yeah,
okay, seriously. So we open with kind of a teaser. It's like, because last year, night 3 was just complete vibes night until the encore. But 90% of the show was just like, we're having a good time. We're not really going to jam. We're going to play some guitar solos. And so opening with Hot Tea into Good to Be, I was like, all right, I guess, we might be doing that again tonight. And then Good to Be, the last 5 minutes of this, holy shit.
Wow.
Like, I couldn't believe it. Like after ripping Hot Tea and then ripping first part of Good to Be, Bogey's on stage already. And then they get quiet and they get gorgeous. And Peter's just sparkling. And it took me completely by surprise. Good to Be continues to deliver. And confirmed it's very fun live.
But it's different every time they play it.
Yeah, right.
Like, you got like the, classic big build version. You got like the funk version. Now you got this one, which is like kind of that gorgeous post-peak jam. Then you got another one I think was just like kind of pretty straight ahead. But, yeah. And so every time they've played it, it's a little bit different. But this one kind of has that, the
patience and commitment to quieter dynamics.
Yeah, just the post-peak jam thing that they were doing a bunch last summer. So I love that stuff, man. Just tack a little bit on there, rip it for a few minutes and then just kind of find a gorgeous space. And then, of course, you've got Bogey out there. You've got some beautiful flourishes on the horns. I mean, it's just, it is quite nice.
Yeah. Speaking of post-peak jams from last summer, still chasing that Mountain Jam Hunger Site post-peak jam. Can we
this
get
approaches that similar vibe.
It does, but like that one was different.
It's quite nice.
And then we get a Western Sun, and this Western Sun is insanely good. I mean, when Bogey and Rick start doing Allman Brothers harmonizing in the second half, like it's, oh my God, I was losing it. And every time I listen, I'm like, like this is crazy.
Yeah. And, the kind of like the twin harmonizing thing is something.
Watching him during this jam on stage was awesome because he's just, he spends a while just kind of like, just like vibing up there. And then, then he starts playing again. And it's like, oh yeah. But man, Cotter and Trevor, and Peter really, but like Cotter and Trevor are so locked in, in the double time section. And once it starts peaking, and like, I don't know if I've ever heard Rick's tone more dialed in than it was during this show. The sustain that he kept hitting was just absurd.
Yeah, there was like some rock star energy in this night, and like just
the Jim James effect.
Right? Don't do it from Louisville. I'm just gonna keep bringing that up because it's just like a ridiculous thing to compare to all this.
That is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Yeah. But so don't look past the first few minutes of this jam, which is instantly creative.
Mm-hmm.
So they drop into kind of this Type Ted thing, which actually sounds like right on the verge of Dragonfly. It's almost like they took out a couple notes and like added something else in, but
someday.
But this one does have that whole vibe to it. So the beginning part is excellent as well before it kind of gets big and energetic. And yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff going on here. This might be my most re-listened to jam today. But when I was like re-listening to the streams, I was re-listening to this one quite a bit. Like this and the Jed Stone have gotten a lot of spins for me. And I love what this one does. It's a very cool jam, and it is not at all what you expect. You get a variety of things happening, and of course, Rick fully linking up and kind of hive binding with Stuart Bogey is really something, man. It's it's just like there was like I said, the show is a metamorphosis where Rick just kind of elevates to some pretty insane kind of rock star energy, which is not normal for Goose, and it starts here in the song.
Maybe whoever was tracking this out, before upload this morning was feeling the Allman Brothers vibes too, like Blue Sky. So like, a Western Sky.
Yeah, maybe that was the joke.
Which it was briefly called. But yeah, most of my day today was alternating between this and Madhavan.
Yeah. I mean, they are the two best jams played at this thing. So
yeah, this ended up, it was funny. I like initially ranked it and I was like, this is a really good jam, but it's a thing and it's good. Listen to it more. And I was like, move it up some slots on the playlist.
Yeah. I think it's going to keep rising too. I don't know. I
got
it up there.
Yeah, but this is insane. And we have, it's crazy that the two best jams from this festival are allegedly not proper Goose jams.
Yeah, man, that argument is going to have to go somewhere to die, because really, all of a sudden, sit-ins are something different than what they used to be. Sometimes you get very synergistic sit-ins. It has happened.
Yeah,
but it's rare with Goose,
and it's rare to get two in the same show with two different people.
Yes.
So anyway, after Western Sun, we get a quick media, no Goons in this one. And then Torero makes its return to the stage, 51 shows since Cleveland with the album version. And I got to say, major Peter Gabriel vibes in the live arrangement of this. And I think it sounds great live. I still prefer the original version. But I don't think that this version is bad. And I really like the kind of interlude between and the bullfighter, the Fana part, if you will. I mean, but there's a really cool like jammy interlude where Trevor's just doing some really cool shit before they hit that. But it is important to me that when they play this and they have time, that there is still a jam in this song.
Well, I think you get the old arrangement back into it. We assume that that's what's going to come after it on the album, sure. And then you got the Miami Vice version of Torero, which I think
Miami
actually
Vice version.
It hits.
Is that what we should call this on the set list? The Miami Vice version?
No, God, no. I don't want to be responsible for that bullshit. But in any case, yeah, 80s Torero, I think is what I was calling it the other day, and I think that actually nails it. But yeah, I mean, so like folks who are kind of whining, complaining about Torero being forever changed, I think are they get the best part. You still get the twin guitar thing, and you get the the kind of Latin vibe. So I mean, I don't know, dude. I'm not really actually broken up about Torero changing at all. I think this
Sure.
is a-okay in my book because we have now learned that when they play it live, they still do the thing that I love about Torero. I don't know if the original arrangement of Torero is like incredible. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like that.
I like it a lot. I don't know what to
Yeah,
tell you.
really? Like, did you like you just like loved it? I don't know.
You know that I loved it. I had the Gonzo one on my playlist, which you ridiculed me for the entire year.
Yeah, I did. Well, but that because we were talking about jams. We're not talking about the song. I
Well,
mean,
I
I
like
don't
the jam in that one too, but I love
know.
Torero.
I think both versions are fine. I
Sure.
think neither version is spectacular. But this one I think hits live in a way that the original version doesn't. And I don't know. I thought it was a cool vibe to close up the set too. It's pretty good.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, great first set. Pretty
Yeah.
fantastic first set. And then we come out for set 2, more Bogey Goons. This is fire. This is more insanely good Bogey Goons. I love this. Not a ton to say
in every show.
beyond that, but the Bogey Goons, man.
I don't have much to say. I mean, it's the dance party. You again get more insane clarinet, which like it's so weird to me that like we're just talking about like the clarinet building tension. But it does, and he does such a good job of it because he knows the right notes to play.
Yep.
And he fits into the Goons so well because the Goons isn't at all what it appears to be on the surface, right? It's something more than that, than just like, Jamtronica. It is not that.
You know what we
It is-
need?
What? Did not hear you.
Oh, no. I didn't say anything because your video froze, and I thought that I had maybe cut out.
Yeah, you
Goons
did.
Dramaphone.
Sure. Yes.
I think that would be
I mean,
fun.
we need more Dramaphone.
I think I was kind of hoping in the back of my mind that they would play Dramaphone this weekend. That would have been a pretty great encore, honestly, if they wanted to, but they didn't. Anyway, we get this Creatures, then we get this old C with Bogey, adding a nice little flavor to it. And then that's the end for Bogey, and Madhavan starts. And I'm like, all right, let's go. And then the jam starts. And I'm like, all right, this is cool. And then it starts ramping up, and Rick starts hitting the sustain. And I was like, oh my God, this is sick. And then, they started kind of like, Rick started pivoting, and I was like, okay, now he's going to pivot major, and we're going to get that soaring peak, and it's going to be great. And then, and then you're out. Yep. And then it just started getting darker.
Yep.
And they just started fucking shredding. And then suddenly Jim James was on stage. And for those who don't know, on the set list, Jim James was not supposed to come out until Cortez. And I've heard from people that this is kind of, thumbs up. I've heard from some people this is kind of like his MO. Like somebody's like, I don't want to plan things. Like if I'm feeling the vibe, I'm going to go up. And if you're sitting in with Jacket, it's just like, if you're feeling the vibe, come on stage. So I look up at the stage and I'm like, 3 guitar Goose. Okay. And watching the stream is so cool because, Rick and Peter are digging in on this riff. And
yeah. I mean, they were
Jim
really
walks up, plugs in, starts going, and immediately just puts his forehead together with Rick. And that was such a cool moment because Rick also doesn't miss a beat during the jam. That could be something that like, you weren't expecting him to come off. It might throw you off, but you weren't expecting him to come out. It might throw you off, but it doesn't. And then Peter starts running around the stage and then puts a leg up on Cotter's drum riser, ripping. Like everything about this Madhavan is just amazing. And that was when I looked up at one point, like after Jim James was on stage, and I was like, where the hell is Peter? And someone next to me was like, he's over on Cotter's drum riser. And I was like, oh, sick.
Just full on rock star energy, man.
Oh man.
I'm reminded of the Trey Anastasio story when he's talking about playing at Live Aid. And like all of a sudden he hears his guitar. Yeah. He's like, what the hell is that? And it turns out it's Neil Young playing his spare guitar. But in any case, yes. I love it when special guests just appear out of nowhere. and they were locked in, and I'm actually curious where they were planning to go. Actually, I'm not. I don't give a damn where
I
they were
think they
planning
were
to
going
go.
to keep going on that.
They were just going to keep doing that thing. I mean, they were both kind of locked into it together. And then, of course, Jim James just shows up and just throws like, just he like, one thing about Goose, man, is that sometimes it all just is too perfect, and it doesn't have that like raw rock and roll kind of energy to it. I don't know. It's just like sometimes too clean or something like that. And they could just
It's
use a little
dirty.
bit more grit, like a
Yeah.
couple extra bends in there, and like, a couple kind of classic rock riffs here and there. Like I feel like that's
You
like
mean
what a lot
like
of people love.
you mean like Rick and Peter both playing the same absolutely filthy riff on guitar for like several minutes while
Yeah, but
Cotter and
like,
Trevor are just destroying?
yeah, I mean, they were both just kind of like hammering chords there, but they weren't doing like kind of like 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 that
Right.
like Freebird shit. And so I mean, they don't have that kind of that raw rock and roll thing all the time. They have their own thing, which is a little bit
Fair.
different, but it doesn't have that kind of the classic rock vibe to it. Not even classic rock, but it's like rock and roll energy. I don't
I know
know.
what you mean. I know what you mean.
I think you get what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
And then, dude, like Jim James comes on stage and just starts like throwing just like like pine trees onto a bonfire of just pure raw rock and roll energy, and then it's just like rock star stances are happening. Like dudes are like rubbing heads against each other.
Hair is
long
going
hair
everywhere. Yeah.
It's just like, I mean, like, this is fucking rock and roll, dude. And so like that part was nuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And meanwhile, it sounds really good. So there's all that. There's just I don't know. They were galvanized by his presence, and
Guys,
they
this
took
it.
that kind of driving jam to the next level. Like erase the Jim James part and just listen to the moment up until he comes on stage. That's a pretty great Madhavan. And then there's what happens after that, and I don't know if it actually elevates any further, but there is an energy shift there that then goes through the rest of the show, which I think is quite fantastic.
Yeah.
Really, really good stuff.
I mean,
and this one will stay near the top of my playlist for a hot minute, I bet.
Yeah. This is currently number 3 on my list. I have it just behind the NOLA Drive and the Fort Lauderdale Kung Fu Fighting. But yeah, I think this is a phenomenal jam. Reminded me, in its the heavy, shreddy 2-guitar Madhavan vibe, reminded me a little bit of the Winter 2025 versions. Just the intensity of the peak and the reentry.
Yeah, no metal riffs this time, but
no metal riffs, but like just the intensity. And I think we lost a little bit of the the reentry at the end here, because I think Rick was looking at the clock and was like, we got Cortez and Rockdale to get through here. But still, phenomenal jam. So happy about it. I did want to call out that Grady, friend of the pod, Grady, said that his eyes were closed the whole time, and it's the first he's hearing about Jim being a part of Madhavan, which is funny because we were together for the whole rest of the night. And I think I said Jim James Madhavan probably 25 times between the end of this show and the end of the night. So
as I said at the top of the show, reentry is difficult, Ryan. Some of us haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah. Also, I think a lot of people, tune me out when I'm, freaking out about a show right after it happens, which
I understandable.
Very understandable. So anyway, Madhavan ends, and they start playing Cortez the Killer, and fuck, man, this is just incredible. And I was just listening to it. I was listening to it while we were cleaning up from dinner with my parents, who both were like blown away at Jim's like Neil Young impression on guitar in this, and it just. Again, more of the Rick and Jim's voices together, and they're playing together, and they sound so good on this song. This was phenomenal.
I mean, man, it takes a ton of charisma to pull off playing one note like 12 straight times and making it sound like you're playing something else. But that's what you got to do to pull off playing Neil Young-esque guitar solos. And Jim James just has that. He just oozes charisma, but so that is incredible. And of course, Rick does an amazing job of complementing that, and the two of them singing verses together, trading off. I think they did really, really well. I mean, Rick was himself, and it just fit. And and Jim James was himself, and it just fit, and they're not even close to the same. So there's actually like a weird juxtaposition there. Rick is a much prettier singer than Jim, and Jim is a much, I'm going to keep using the words,
More
but like
raw.
grittier guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the result is just something that sounds, I think, truly incredible. And this is the metamorphosis I'm talking about. Again, going back to the conversation where I was talking about Rick sitting in the acoustic set, and then now this. Like, these guys are just there to make music together, and it seems like they're having a hell of a time. I have a feeling Jim James, everything he does sounds incredible, but the two of them together really sounded like guys that should do something together someday, because they had that you know that charisma together. I think that chemistry. So it was a thing to behold, man. And the best Goose sit-in ever, maybe.
Potentially.
Maybe. I mean, folks are going to want to talk about Grippo coming out and playing sax with them, but dude, and then
I
of
think
course
this is better than that.
This is better than that, and I don't think we want to believe that the Trey sit-ins were, next level. And aside from the Portland,
No, but I think
don't
this is different
any of them got there.
because with the Trey sit-ins, it was still like the master and the student type of vibe.
Yes, right. That's what I'm getting at.
And Jim and Rick are just like two guys who are great at music,
making art, dude. It's so good.
Just two guys making art.
Yep, I love it.
And then Rockdale. And even a 9-minute Rockdale is cooler with Jim James. Watching him swing the hair up, on stage and like sing and whatever. It was like, all right, like I can get down with this. Like,
yeah, so good. I mean, and again, this is I like a short, fiery Rockdale, and this is about as short and fiery as they get. Just my one wish is on the mix of this. If they could find a way to redo it and turn Jim James up a little bit, it would make it sound a lot better. He's really quiet in the mix on the boards for this one. But, I mean, he's not doing anything too crazy. He's just kind of doing this like little phrase underneath everything, but it's still good.
Yep. And that's the end.
Yeah.
And then we got DJ Mar Menthols.
Yep. Missed that one. 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row. By the way, we talked about some of the extracurriculars, but Neil, you were there last year, and I want you to know that the fastest kid in class, Grady Parks, is the two-time champion, the two-time world champion of the Viva El Gonzo fun run with Peter. Only person who can say that. He won again. Wasn't a race, but he won again.
It was absolutely not a race. But yeah.
But he won again. Second year in a row.
Yeah.
The fastest kid in class. So anybody this summer at shows, if you see Grady, and you'll see him because he's visible.
He maybe goes to every show.
Tell him how fast he is.
Yeah, he's a fast guy.
Tell him how fast he is.
What else? What else happened? What else did you attend or see while you were there? Can you give us some highlights?
Oh, I mean, there was a volleyball tournament, and I was told on Storm Tracker that Peter is terrible at volleyball.
Yeah, I think we were told that. Cutter told us that last year. Like in the 30 seconds in passing where I waved to him and said hello, he was like, "I did beach volleyball, and Peter's terrible at it," or something like that. But maybe I'm making that up. I don't know.
Peter repping the Jam of the Year championship shirt at the Ruthie Bandit DJ set.
What a guy.
Yeah.
Rocking the shirt.
Good
he's a big EMG fan. So
yeah, I don't know. It was just all around incredible weekend.
Yeah.
Everyone did a great job.
It's funny, like I'm looking at like pictures of this, and obviously like the scale is much bigger, but I think what can't be communicated about Gonzo is the kind of really small festival vibe to it, where you could very easily walk very close to the stage if you felt like it, and the energy was there such that you could do that if you felt like it. Nobody was going to shove you out of the way. I'm sure if you tried to get really close up on the rail, then you might have a couple issues.
Yeah, I don't know how far up to the front you could get, but you at the smaller stages, certainly very easy to get up front. There are definitely more people than last year. I don't have an official count, but like definitely a noticeably bigger crowd than last year, which is great. Also seeing some locals around for some of the other bands. Leisure, phenomenal. Loved their set.
Yeah.
Neil, you would have loved the Leisure set. Right up your alley.
Of course.
But next year,
yes.
Angine de Poitrine late night.
Oh, dude. If that's the case, I'm going. I'm going to show up 3 days early and I'm going to stay an additional 3 days. Don't even get me started.
But yeah, give us the Angine de Poitrine 2 to 3 a.m. set, please.
Yeah. Yep. I'm there.
I'm
skipping the Goose set so I get Angine de Poitrine rail. Absolutely, dude. In any case, that's a good thing to end.
But yeah, that's Gonzo, man. It was great. Phenomenal weekend. Thank you to Goose, 100X, everybody involved in putting that on. Can't wait to see what happens next in terms of Mexico or otherwise destinations.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm sad that I didn't go this year. My hope is that they can do this again. And when they do it not on a weekend when a lot of people feel like they need to stick around. I don't know.
You mean Mother's Day
weekend is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mother's Day is hard. It's hard.
Hey, shout out to all the people that valiantly sacrificed their Viva El Gonzo and didn't go this year so they could be with their wives and or mothers.
That's right.
This Mother's Day was in celebration of you, Neil, because you didn't go to Goose.
Yep.
I'm just kidding. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. That was a joke. Anyway, Europe is in 10 days. And I'm really excited. Flying there in 9 days, but 10 days until the first show in London. Cannot wait to see what happens in Europe this time. We got small venues. We got cool cities. We got multiple 2-night runs. Man, I can't wait. And as we mentioned at the beginning of the episode, next week, you will be getting a very beefy recorded episode covering all the shows that Goose has played so far in 2026. Kind of a broader view as we do. And looking forward to that. And then Europe podcasting TBD.
Yeah, who the hell knows?
Who the hell knows? We're gonna try to figure something out. You may be seeing 2 a.m. post show Ryan live on the podcast again. And for those who weren't around for that in the fall of 2023, you should go check out our evening after show episodes because they are they're fun.
They're raw.
They're fun. No, they're raw is one word for it.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was fun.
Europe's gonna be a good time.
We'll see what happens. We'll record something here or there. Europe tour isn't all that long, so
it's only 8 shows in a festival this time.
Yep.
So, well,
man, I'm looking forward to talking about the first 18 shows of the year with you soon. Folks, we'll get that episode soon, and we're just gonna keep talking about Goose. We had 6 months off.
Oh, really?
We're just
That's
not
a good plan.
Stop.
Yeah. I like talking about Goose. I plan on continuing to talk about Goose. I like that plan. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us on this episode of Always Almost There, day after show live or several days after show live. We love you all. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you out there very, very soon. Stay tuned to our socials, as I mentioned, for announcements on the spring recap and on what we are going to be doing to cover the Europe shows. Have a fantastic night. Thanks again. We love you. See you next time. Peace.
Adios.